How's everybody doing today? Welcome to another edition of the Oldies Show. Today we're going to be playing 1990s country hits. This era has a special era and genre have a special place in my heart. So we're going to be playing some of those. If you are on our socials right now, I'll be putting the link in the comments for you to come right through and listen to us on a Lead Pedal Radio or on our Mixcloud account. Or you can listen on Back to Beach Radio if that's how you're choosing. Either one is a great option if you want to see the stream. Mixcloud's the best place. If you want to just hear the music, then Back to Beach Radio is the best place. Either way, we're going to get started here with some music. So join us for the show, okay?
Whether you were cruising the strip, dancing under the disco lights, or rocking out in the 90s, the music that made your memories live right here with DJ Bruce Outridge on the Oldies Show.
So our first song is one that the reason I'm so into this genre is this was probably the start of my height of my trucking career. All right. And when I say this is the time when I started running the States a couple years before. I actually grew up as a teenager in the 70s. Classic rock was my big thing, which is why I love that genre. But I started really trucking back at the time, back around 89 when my son was born, and I kept going. And the 90s, so the 90s country is what everybody was listening to. There's some big stars coming up. And I remember on my way, one of my first trips, I loved running Texas. This is one of my favorite places to go. So this song by George Strait was one of mine. Whether I got there by morning, I don't know. Amarillo by morning. Here we go. A little George Strait for you right there. Amarillo by morning. I never had to do that. I love the live versions from George Strait. This next one.
Got a new single I want to play for you right now.
This next song is from a group that, I don't know, today they're probably kind of controversial, but I just like their songs. I don't find them, if you're in the U.S., there's probably a whole thing going on. But Confederate Railroad, I really enjoyed their music, and I love it. And I love this song. It's probably one of my favorites. They did one called Daddy Never Was the Cadillac Kind. And every time I hear that song, I think of my dad. He was kind of just a fun guy to be around. No fluff. You know, he didn't try to be somebody he wasn't. He was just a really good guy. So this goes out to you, Dad. He's no longer with us, but I really appreciate this one. Here we go, a little Confederate Railroad. Say a big shout out, my ex-wife Christine. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday! But the reason I'm saying that, because exes don't usually wish each other. I do. We're good. But it was actually her family that got me more into truck. Up until then, the only country people I knew was Kenny Rogers. Only. And then when I got together with her, her family was really into Conway Twitty and all that kind of stuff. And then I started trucking. And when I started trucking, a lot of truck drivers were in the country back then. And that's how I kind of started getting into that. And of course, all these country stars were coming out. So trucking and country to me go together really good. And there's this one guy. Now, this guy, Aaron Tippin. Now, Aaron Tippin was really coming up hot back in those days. And he was also a truck driver. And he also had this song called There Ain't Nothing Wrong with the Radio. And if you've never heard this song or seen this, you got to see the video, because in the video, in concert, he gets everybody going. You got to do this wave, which is the CB antennas. I know. It's just such a good time back then. All right, let's hear this song, shall we? Here we go. Don't forget to wave your arms. That's how the CB radio thing goes.
All the way from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and today.
I'm sorry if this is turning into a bit of a trucking show. It's not meant to be. It's just a lot of these, like I say, a lot of these songs kind of inspired my career, and Hopefully my career inspired these songs. I don't know. Like this next one here. This next one's from Alan Jackson. This one I really love. It's called Drive. It's actually about a boat. But I remember the days when my dad used to put me on his lap and I would hold the steering wheel and he'd press the pedals, probably when I was a young kid going down in this, I think it was our Corvair, 61 Corvair, and just driving around our neighborhood there, and he was teaching me to drive. I guess he got me started early on back in those days, and so every time I play this song, it reminds me of that one. Mine was a Corvair. I'm not sure Dad had probably had a choke. Hey, do you remember this one? Remember walking around the yard playing Cowboys and Indians? 90s country classics. I don't know if they're all from 1990s. I'm kind of just playing what I like. But I got to tell you, as I was mentioning when we opened, you know, I've got so many genres that I love. I grew up with music from the 60s through my parents. I was a teen in the 70s, so classic rock was my thing. I started trucking in the 80s. That's how I got into country. And all of these songs bring back so many memories. Billy the Kid, I used to walk around with my little cowboy hat and my, I don't know, probably had one gun back. Who knows what I had? I don't know. But this one here, this next one, back in the day, and this is, like I said, I hope this isn't turning too much into a trucking show, but there's so many memories that bring back from my career. So this one here by Billy Ray Cyrus, you know, he had Boot Scootin' Boogie, which was a big, or not Boot Scootin' Boogie, he had, what's the other one he had? I'll play it later. Anyway, this is actually my favorite one from him. So, back in the day when I was running, there was no cell phones. I had a 1-800 number just to call the family to keep, because phone, you know, it was either that or 9,000 different coins in the machine. If anybody knows about a phone booth, you'll remember there was times when you'd have a fight with your wife and you would not call home for a long time, you know, because they didn't know where you were. Unless there was an emergency, they weren't going to call the company and go tell them to call me. So, you know, you'd have this fight, and then this song would come on, and all the time you're going, where am I going to live when I get home?
More music, more fun.
This next guy was one of my favorites. Doug Stone was really hot in the 90s, and back then, like I said, it keeps coming back to trucking, I don't know why, but back then there was a lot of honky-tonks. I don't think they're around anymore the way they are now. They've turned into clubs or whatever, but there used to be these little bars. You'd be at a truck stop, you'd walk across the street at the end of the day and you'd have a beer, and just little, we don't have them here in our neighborhood. Like now it's always, you got to go and you got to spend $100 for lunch, but there used to be a place where you could actually just go and just talk to somebody, and Doug Stone sang about this one, a jukebox with a country song. Yeah. Well, thank you. I don't think you could have a 90s country show without playing this next guy. Now, this next guy, we could have multiple shows all about just this next guy. But Garth Brooks, of course, was hot as can be back in the 90s. And there's so many good songs. I could play them all. But this has got to be one of my favorites, called The Dance.
But it's funny. This song fits perfectly well right here. The song's called The Dance.
Yeah, do it today.
If tomorrow never comes.
Well, that's a good message for all of us, no matter what you're doing today. But right now, you're listening to 1990s country hits on the Oldies Show with DJ Bruce Outridge. Hope you are having a good one. This next guy we lost in the pandemic, but in the 90s he was instrumental, and he had so many. I don't know why I'm attracted to all these guys with some good fun songs. Oh, Joe Duffy had Pickup Man. That's one of my favorites for sure. One more. Don't you wish you could say this to somebody? Oh yeah, how do you like me now? For you right there, for sure. All right, so we are going to go out with one song. I got one song left. I got just enough time to play it, and I wanted to really go out with this one here because I was a big Nitty Gritty Dirt fan. But I just want to say thank you. Thank you to all of you that have been joining me every week. Thanks for supporting the show and sharing. Pat, you are awesome. You're on all the time. Thank you so much for that. And I really appreciate you supporting the show and supporting the stations that are playing the music. I think we're on with some good ones, which is why we've partnered with people like Back to Beach Radio and stuff. So join our family. fan club. Support those that are supporting others. And let's go out with this one here, a little nitty-gritty dirt band for you. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time.